Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, and welcome to our Album of the Decade series where we are going year by year talking about what was big in music that year, picking our top 10 albums, narrowing it down to top 3, and those albums will go into the meat grinder, which is essentially a giant elimination style bracket where only one album will come out as the Album of the Decade. It's going to get brutal, it's going to get nasty, alliances will be formed, hearts will be broken. Stick around. Today we are talking 1992. On the panel we have Tim.
Ted Danson.
Joe.
Ted Danson.
Bill.
Ted Danson.
And myself, Jason. Coach.
Ted Danson.
Coach, man. Coach was the star of Cheers.
Coach was a star of Cheers. Who's Coach in Cheers?
Whoa.
Man, this is like pre-Woody days. This is like 1992 Cheers.
Yeah, Woody replaced
Okay.
the coach.
Yes, I remember. Okay, I got you.
1992 Cheers. All right.
That's also when Diane left. And
I should have said Norm right then.
Yeah,
Can we start
Diane
over?
left and Christy came. I love Diane. All right. So recap if you guys didn't watch the previous episodes. This is what is in the grinder and who picked what.
Mm-hmm.
Any albums that you see twice, like Sonic Youth Goo or Garth Brooks, whatever the fuck that album is, they automatically get a bye. And a quick look at the bracket. I'm still working on the artwork with this. Probably be another year before we get to it. But as you can see, Slayer has a bye. Sonic Youth has a bye. Whatever the fuck that Garth Brooks album is. Nevermind. And Green Day's Kerplunk. All right, so let's just go ahead and look at the albums. I guess Joe and I should start off. We both have the same album. Joe, why don't you start us off? Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes.
I love it. Let me get to my notes here.
Don't be a cowboy.
Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, what an album. That's basically my notes. It's just outstanding, genre-defying, life-changing, all those good things. Crucify, great song. Girl, good song. Silent Prayers, amazing. Precious Things, Winter. I mean, we can just go on and name every song on here. Just really, really good. I came to Tori Amos late in my life. I think that the first album I heard was Boys for Pele, and that was way after it was out. Actually, I think, Jason, you may have introduced me to Tori Amos, Boys for Pele. Maybe
Probably.
You burned it for me?
Probably.
I can't remember. I wasn't a Tori fan. Tori completely missed me in 1992. Was not something I listened to at that time. But since then, obviously, Tori's amazing. I think this album's amazing. I know that this isn't my favorite Tori album, but man, it's up there. I would have loved to have been a part of our Tori Amos ranking. Go watch that. YouTube.
Yep.
That we have. I would have loved to be part of that one. So, but yeah, Little Earthquakes, amazing album. I think it's really, really good.
I was going to mention that, like, we missed you on the Little Earthquakes. I think you would have been a good one. Shout out Rose for joining us.
Thank you, Rose.
Great job. Go back and watch our Tory rankings. You will see that I am very, very fond of Little Earthquakes. This is my number one Tory record. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fucking phenomenal record, and everybody should hear it. At least everybody on this panel. Happy Phantom, Precious Things, Silent All These Years, Heartbreaking Me and Gun, Leather. It's a good album.
I've got 8 out of the 12 I put great next to.
it's a good year. Or should I say it's a great year?
It's a great album.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is a great album. If I remember correctly, it was not my number one, but it was in my top 3, I believe.
It was in your top 3.
Yeah.
It would definitely hit my top 3.
Go down. Leave us a comment down below. Where did we put it in our ranking? Well, I know where I put it. Where did Tim put it? Go watch that video and let us know. Because that was a while back. All right.
Yeah, it's been a moment. But yeah, that was just outstanding.
We got Tori on the board. Tim, you are next with Pantera.
Well, to completely shift gears here.
Is it though? Tori had a vulgar display of power on Little Earthquakes.
That's true. That's true. She did. Yeah, this just a game changer of an album. This album came out to very little fanfare, and it blew up so big that their next album debuted at number 1. It's
what was the next one? Was it Cowboys or?
That was one before this. The next one's Far Beyond Driven.
Oh, okay. That was
but everybody just fell in love with this album and wanted to hear what was next. This was used for the theme for Headbangers Ball back in the day. So if you remember that, you're very familiar with how this album sounds.
I did not know that.
The production on here is just fantastic. I feel like this is where Pantera truly found their sound. And we're chasing this album ever since. Just every song. The singles, you got This Love, Mouth for War, Walk, probably their most famous song. The song's huge to this day, still blows people's mind. No Good, Attack of the Radical, Hostile. So good. Time to Rise. It just... like the cover implies, it's just 50 minutes of pure aggression, and done very, very well.
I don't have anything to add. I've never heard this record. I've probably heard it, but didn't know what it was.
It definitely changed metal. Like there is a pre-Pantera and post-Pantera, and it you could pinpoint it to this album. Okay. Just absolutely changed everything that came out after it. And I don't know if anything came as good.
Ooh.
Yeah. Solid album. Solid album.
That's a cool album cover for like a Pantera type band.
Sure, it's throwing us back to some Black Flag vibes.
Yeah.
This is definitely where they went. They completely got rid of all their grime influences and just went straight hardcore.
And normally this isn't the type of, as we some of you may or may not have seen, is it art before? This isn't normally the type of thing I'd like, as far as just a big album named the bottom, but I think it really fits what we're doing here. Vulgar display of power, punched onto the face. I don't know if I've ever heard a song off this album, to be honest, but I like the cover.
Well, the album sounds like the cover looks.
Are you delivering or receiving the punch?
Depends on the weather outside, my friend.
It reminds me of that fucking High on Fire song.
The Beating?
The Beating, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get punched in the face and curb stomp. That's just the first part of it right here.
I mean, yeah, Mouth for War, New Level. I mean, these are just classics. Like, it's just such a great album. Every song, from start to finish.
We always try to touch on the artwork here at ODD. Like, we're big album art fans.
Let us know. Hashtag bring back Is It Art.
Yep.
Not Photoshop. Not staged.
Not AI.
Not AI. That's a real fist and a real face.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not volunteering for that job.
All right. Up next. Wait, that kind of looks like the same guy.
Does this guy get the punch in the mush or what?
Well, 92 had a look.
Oh,
They did. Yeah, they had a look. I'll give him that vest, man. That's a fucking... I like the fucking flames on the vest.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about 90s, early 90s country album. There we go for the album cover. Seriously, though, so John Anderson's seminal win. This was his, I believe it was 18th studio album.
Holy crap!
12th. I'm sorry, this one was only his 12th.
Oh well, that's completely. No.
He looks. He does not look like that old.
Yeah.
That's pretty prolific.
Well, he was producing since the 80s, and actually in the 70s, I believe, is when he started. So John Anderson, this album was really his comeback album, as a whole. You start with "We Got Our Love," that eventually became a single afterwards. "Straight Tequila Night," probably have heard that one once or twice here or there. Most notably, one of the co-writers on that was Kent Robbins, who actually wrote songs for other artists, including but not limited to Charlie Pride, Rodney Millsap, Trace Adkins, Michael Johnson, the Judds, Trisha Yearwood. I know you're a fan of that, Jason.
Love me some Yearwood.
Yeah, then the album just going after that. Last Night I Laid Your Memory to Rest, Let Go of the Stone, Look Away. All these kind of bridging the gap like a lot of the country artists started to do between the 70s, 80s sound and then the 90s sound that Garth Brooks really made popular. I'll say from a closing track standpoint, Seminole Wind is a phenomenal song. It's a good closing track, maybe not the best closing track ever, but it's a good closing track.
I can see that. I'm with you. I don't think Seminole Wind's a good closing track. I think you want more after Seminole Wind. Seminole Wind, great song, but that's a tough closer.
So that being said, because usually I can pinpoint another song on the album to stick it in. There's really not another one I'd really slot in as a closing song. Maybe Cold Day in Hell, but I don't even know if that'd be the best closing song ever. So yeah, I mean, aside from closing track maybe not being an ideal closing track, this is overall a very, in my opinion, a solid album. And honestly, if someone wanted to get into John Anderson, this would be a good album starting point. Yeah, it's got a unique voice with country as well, and he also gives a lot of songwriting credits to other people.
Nashville in the 80s, 90s.
Is this the one I asked you if it was a covers record? There's one of them I asked you if it was a covers record. I was shocked at
I think you were asking about George Strait.
You asked about George Strait, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, this one isn't a covers record. This is he just other people write his songs. It's not like Straight Tequila Night. That one's written by Kent Robbins and Debbie Hupp. These songs that Anderson specifically wrote himself was the opening track, We Got Our Love, and the closing track, Seminole Wind, which is arguably Seminole Wind was the second biggest single off this album. But besides that, yeah, other people in his band or just other people write his songs. Yeah, that's why I felt this definitely deserved a spot in top 10 albums of 1992.
I listened to a lot of Seminole Wind growing up in the 90s with my family. We talked about it a little bit, but also Straight Tequila Night I know was referenced in the Marfa tapes, which came out as Miranda Lambert thing they did, but she references Straight Tequila Night at some point, and I was like, oh yeah.
That's the chick that has a song with Billy Joe Armstrong, isn't it?
That's a great question that I do not have the answer to.
I don't have the answer to that one either.
I have the answer. It's of course they did a song together.
Yeah, you fucking hater. All I'll say, because I don't know this record, but as far as album art goes, that's a pretty good album art for 1992. It looks like it's from the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
And that was by choice. Like, I like that.
And I like his name in split colors. That's really cool.
And I like is that a Fender? I think that's a yellow Fender. Like, I like the color of that Fender.
Mm-hmm. They did a good job there. I'd like to see him in that same outfit today, 2024, but
he's a little bit bigger than that now.
Yeah. Well, you mean get it let out, right?
He'll fill it out. He'll fill out the vest a little bit.
Nothing like a good filled out vest.
That's right.
let's just go ahead and
I'm
slot
loving,
him.
I'm loving it. I haven't
into
thought about Seminole Wind in a very long time. That's good stuff.
Bill's number 1 for now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Joe. Let's go with you next. What you got on
Finally.
the board here?
Who we got? Because I didn't do these by years, which is what you do, which is great because it's a surprise. All right, Sublime. So if you remember, we did a Sublime rant and rank. We covered Sublime.
That was for
a billion years
Patreon.
ago. Was it? Was it only Patreon?
Yeah, it was a Patreon exclusive.
Oh, you suckers need to get on Patreon. If you ain't on Patreon, you should join a Patreon. It helps us keep the beer
It
flowing.
helps me buy more than a $16 Aerosmith mic.
I love this Aerosmith mic. All right, so we did that at one point with Ed. So we talked about all Sublime. So since it was Patreon, I guess I'll go over a little bit more. I like Sublime. I'm a fan. Sublime is
Who
good.
doesn't?
I don't know about Sublime with Rome. It's been a long time since I listened to Sublime. Does anybody like Sublime with Rome? Have anybody all heard?
No. I mean, I saw some of his Coachella performance, but that wasn't with Rome.
That was Sublime with new.
Yeah, that was the
Bradley.
Bradley's kid. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not that big of a Sublime fan. Like
Yeah, I
after
don't
Bradley was
know.
gone, I was done.
I think it's a good
Which means you were done before it started.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I like the Spanish. I like the ska. I like the 90s rock vibe. This album does go a touch long for my taste because there are 23 songs on it. It's a little lengthy for what I enjoy about Sublime. There is a amount of Sublime I like. 23 songs, just a touch too much. But, I mean, I love the start of it. Waiting for Morocco. 40 Ounce of Freedom's good. Smoke Two Joints is good. New Thrash. Live at Ease. What Happened. Rivers of Babylon. I love the ending track for Thanks. I think that's really good. But, I like their sound. I really like what they did. I think they were unique for the time for the mainstream points.
They do a really good Descendants cover with Hope.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that on here?
Yeah, it's on here.
Okay.
That's
didn't
a
realize that was
Descendants
Descendants
song,
cover.
yeah.
I'll be damned. I just wrote okay beside that one. So...
Well, you wouldn't write okay next to the Descendants doing Hope.
Probably not.
Yeah,
But-
go back and watch our Descendants videos, of course.
God, I think that y'all's Descendants stuff is great. So far, I'm really glad y'all did Descendants. That made me very
I think
happy.
we are too.
Yeah, that made me very happy whenever y'all did. I was like, oh, they're doing Descendants. Hand clap, smile.
That was my pick, by the way.
That's good. I should pick a band for y'all to do.
Well, you got to sign up for the Patreon.
I think I should have some founders' rights here.
No, because you'll give us some bullshit. We already been down this
I ain't
road.
giving y'all bullshit. I only bullshit when I'm with you.
Well, then, if you wanna, if you give us an artist, we'll do it. You got to be on the show with us.
No, I'm only gonna be on there if it's bullshit. I'll give you a good artist when I'm not on there. Ooh, I know the artist I want to do. I'll be with you. Bad Astronaut. Anyway, Sublime, amazing.
Astronaut. Fuck yeah.
So great album.
Yeah, it's a good one. It didn't make my top 10, but it's a good one.
The kids like it.
Yeah, I mean,
The kids are a fan. It is going to go after Tori Amos's Little Earthquakes.
I wasn't even going to question that. I just
I just want to
assumed
be sure.
if you would have done that, we would have had some fucking words.
That'd been rough.
All right, Bill, what you got next? I'm just jumping around.
me?
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, this will get votes right here.
This one, it's almost a crime against humanity. No one else had this album, which it's the one album I actually managed to grab.
He's got better in the 90s, I think.
I think he's got better in the 80s, too.
Oh, yeah, in the 80s. We'll get
The
there.
only album I managed to grab here for 1992. This was actually the album that introduced me to Weird Al.
Okay.
Me too.
Smells like Nirvana, riding high off of that lithium train. This is what? When did Nevermind come out here?
91.
91.
We are first year post Nevermind. Remember that.
Yep. It was. But what month? Wasn't it November or October? It was like near the end of the year. September.
September. Yeah.
So I mean, it was. He got 7 months, and he managed to do a parody of "Smells Like Teen Spirit." So And I mean, a lot of artists say you made it big when Weird Al does a cover of your song.
What a video too for MTV.
Drum.
Yeah, it's the same. I think it's the same janitor. I think it's the same janitor.
Trigger Happy. Goddamn, that song's catchy.
Trigger happy every day.
Can't watch this. You're right. Can't, but I'm stuck watching it, so I want to. Polka Your Eyes Out. I'd say.
Always.
I love his polka stuff.
Yeah, the polka stuff is always.
He's got a better one coming up.
He does have better polka stuff.
I would say for all of his polkas he did, this one's probably third on my list.
It's mid.
It's good, but it's I Was Only Kidding. Kind of hilarious when you listen to that song. The White Stuff in the middle of the Oreo before you get any sick ideas.
The White Stuff.
When I Was Your age, goddamn. I love all the. It's because half of them are parodies, and he also has the original ones on here. Like, you're not getting the same song twice on this album at all.
Airline Amy would be a top song contender if we ever did Weird Al.
Yeah.
I love this Airline Amy.
You Don't Love Me Anymore is a good closing track, and you know what? Bite Me. That's how you do a goddamn hidden track right there.
You hear that? No doubt.
That's how you do it. Right? Listen to You Don't Love Me Anymore. It kind of fades out. You'd be sitting at, 12, actually, no, first time listening to this, like 9 years old, listening to the CD going in its CD player. And then 10 minutes later, Bite Me hits, and you're like, holy shit. God damn, what just happened? And then it ends. It's like, oh, that's what just happened. All right.
Bill, did you ever see UHF?
Oh.
Yes.
So good.
We've talked about that movie a couple times on this series, I think.
God, that movie's so good. Joe, did you see the new one? Did you see Weird, the Al Yankovic story?
No, I want to see that. Is it good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's better than UHF, but it's very possible that it is.
Okay. In my youth, I read up about Weird Al quite a bit and like where he got started and everything because I was like, this man's amazing. Just you putting on here I have no issue with him being in a top 10 list at any point in time because I think that he's witty and bright about how he does his covers and how he does his, like the Smells Like Nirvana and the White Nerdy and things. I think that's very bright and how he got his start was very, very interesting to me.
And has anybody on the panel seen him live?
No.
I've heard stories.
Great live performer.
I've heard he's like the nicest guy. He runs out. He's like, ooh, fans. And like make sure that he...
Well, when I saw him, he had costumes for every song. Like they did the Chili Peppers song, the Give It Away, but he came out dressed like Fred Flintstone.
I mean, spoilers, like my favorite Weird Al was like in the 2000s. He was in an interview and they asked him like, oh, your albums aren't doing as well as they used to. What's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, it's because music's not as good as it used to be. And I love some Weird Al.
Who doesn't?
These 90s decades videos are so rough on me with the
would y'all like to give a hand to Jason because of his hard work, please?
Yeah, I need some.
Y'all, I'm thinking, give him some love in the chat, please.
All right, Bill, is it better than John Anderson?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I respect this. I like what we're seeing so far.
All right. I'm getting rained on. Blame the in-laws. Got forced out of my own house, you see? All right, up next, Tim.
Yes.
Body Count. Oh, man. This was a story to tell.
Yeah, so not the original title. We're not going to say the original title for the algorithms. There's a couple songs There's a couple songs on here. We're not going to say the song titles for the algorithms. Those are the songs you definitely want to check out, though. They're great, hilarious. Musically, like, we're a cross between Suicidal Tendencies and Slayer on this album, with a healthy dose of Black Sabbath and Funkadelic thrown in. Ice-T is, this is his first non-rap album. I know people like to call it a rap rock album, but there's no rapping on here. This is a straight hardcore, angry, all the spirit of that early 90s West Coast rap anger, as well as, like, a healthy dose of, Southern California punk rock, Black Flag, Suicidal, the Vandals. Like, this thing is fantastic. It's hilarious. It's timely. It's addressing issues that are still relevant today. And, I mean, what other album are you going to get both Charlton Heston and Dan Quayle quoting lyrics? Yeah, I mean, some titles I can mention, like Bowels of the Devil is great. The Winner Loses is incredible. That's that'll be a top song contender. Mama's Gotta Die Tonight, hilarious song about the evils of racism. And then, of course, the last song, which was the original title, was replaced by Freedom of Speech, which is speech done by Jello Biafra, I believe. But yeah, if you can find the original, highly recommend it. Oh, man. Yeah, the song titles I can't say are just hilarious. So many quotable lyrics on this album.
Yeah, if you haven't heard this.
Yeah, and it still sounds great. I was driving around with it in my car just a couple months ago and just loving every song. It's a real fun record to drive around to. Play you some Grand Theft Auto, throw this in your car, and experience life like you've never seen before.
Especially the original title track.
Yeah. If you could find the original, it's worth it. And you can still find it for pretty cheap. So, yeah, sparked a controversy in this country that we're still feeling the reverberations from, about freedom of speech, about political intent. And now Ice-T plays a cop on America's favorite, right-wing television series. So
yeah.
Yeah, Body Count is highly underrated, and this is their first album, and man, they came out with a bang, pun intended.
Where would you rank it?
So is the bang better than the punch?
Ooh.
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's going above Pantera on my list.
So violent, vulgar display of power, body count.
Underneath, you just got Weird Al floating in the pool.
I'm over here with Little Earthquakes.
Yeah.
Well, where did the Gin Blossoms come in next?
That was honorable mentions, you motherfucker. They didn't make my top 10. Arrested Development, man, that was a good record too.
Sure. And a good TV show.
Jason, what you got for number 2?
I'm getting there. Social Distortion, Somewhere Between Heaven and Hell. This is a great record.
This was my entry point into the world of Social Distortion.
This isn't what I want to... That's spoilers. I think they're going to do some better things later on.
I think they might. All I'm saying is that it was my entry point, and Bad Luck was like, I still love that song.
Yeah, Bad Luck, 99
Cold
Life.
Feelings. Yeah, great stuff on this album.
We're gonna get to Social Distortion on this channel. I think Bill needs to hear Social Distortion.
Yeah, and I love their 1990 album, self-titled, amazing. I thought this was going to make the top 10. It did not for me.
Yeah, I mean, no spoilers, but I would put the 90s self-titled probably above this one. They're not... Still a great record. Still a phenomenal record.
It is a very good record, yes.
It made the top 10.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to this one. I haven't listened to this one in a while.
There's just a little change of sound from the 90s to this one that, just did not enthrall me to it. Whereas that 1990 album, I think, it's so many, almost singles that I've heard. Like, I know those songs and I love them. Sure. This one, I was like, I know some of these songs, but the sound is just a tad different.
We'll get to Social Distortion.
But this album definitely is one of the better ones from '92. Mm-hmm. I'll definitely agree. This would get some of my votes if it makes the meat grinder.
Well, speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and rank it. But because we haven't gone very far yet, I only have Little Earthquakes on the board. It is not better than Little Earthquakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine bullets.
The comment section.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. All right. Joe, why don't you start us off this time? Let's see what you got.
All right.
Ooh.
Speaking of.
Oh.
So, hello. And we, I think any of you who've watched this for a length of time have heard us talk about Sonic Youth and how Jason has always wanted us to do the Sonic Youth ones, and I have never really listened to Sonic Youth. Well, going through the 90s, I've listened to Sonic Youth. That's badass. And as was it 90 that I did? When was Goo? Was it 1990?
That was 90.
That's 91.
91. So as I did with Goo, love
No,
this
that was
album.
90. That was 90.
Love that album. Love Goo. I thought it was great. Love this album. I think it's great also. I said as I said for Sonic, I was not a Sonic Youth person back in the day, but I really like their sound now. I love all of Kim's songs on this. I think they're so good. So 100% great. Swimsuit Issue, great. Teresa Sound World, great. Drunken Butterfly, good. I love you. I love you. I love you. What's your name? Wish Fulfillment, good. Orange Rolls, Angel Spit, great. Nick Fit was the one I wasn't in love with on this album. So that's really the one the only song I really didn't enjoy. Creme Brulee is good. So just fantastic. I can't believe I missed Sonic Youth for as long as I did growing up. I wish I'd have listened to him in the 90s. I know. It's like Wonder Years. Like Wonder Years, you and I, where and it wasn't even that bad for Sonic Youth. I just didn't listen to Sonic Youth.
They're very Melvins-like when it comes to, like, you say, hey, listen to Sonic Youth, and most people are like, oh, no, it's not. I've heard about Sonic. Yeah, you kind of get that with the Melvins too. Like, it's the Melvins. I don't really want to. But once it clicks, you're on it.
So good. It's wild listening to 92. So I listened to like a shit ton of albums from 92. Like, I look up a list of the albums up there, so in case of anything I miss that I get into. And actually, one of my albums we'll talk to about later, never heard of this band before. The only time I've heard of them is because of me looking at a list of what came out in 92 and just going down through it. So, getting a chance to listen to all those albums, and there are a lot of not good albums in 92. I can tell you, I listened to a lot of them. So, getting to listen to Sonic Youth, and hearing this album, I was like, "Oh my god!" And like my ears just peaked.
Well, I will say this: Sonic. This is their most commercial time. Goo, Dirty, Washing Machine. That they're on DGC. They're on Geffen Records. Mm-hmm. This is their.
They got their Nirvana stamp of approval.
Yeah, this is like the 3-run album. The Melvins went through it too with a 3-run album.
Yeah,
but I think Sonic Youth was more popular than the Melvins. But this is their most accessible. if you can take what you learn from Dirty and apply it to Daydream Nation or, you know, Halloween or any of those Bad Moon records, we'll see. We'll have to have you guest on Sonic Youth.
Yeah, I'm curious to keep going with, like, so far I've heard 2 of their albums and I've really enjoyed both of them.
Oh, Washing Machine's coming. Washing Machine, no bass. Kim Gordon plays the third guitar, and it's fucking beautiful.
Well, I mean, like I said, Kim's songs on this were just outstanding. They were so good.
Yeah, Kim shines in the 90s. All right. I've got 2 more before I even talk about Dirty. So,
Dirty is going to go above Sublime, behind Tory.
that's fair. I can respect it. All right. Bad Religion Generator.
I should have mentioned this for... Oh, honorable mention, but you've had it. That's why I didn't.
This is... I'm scared to do Bad Religion because I thought this was like one of my favorite Bad Religions. If you ask me like top 3 Bad Religions, it'd be Generator. But this is one that I had to go back and listen to for this video, and it's still really fucking good. You got Heaven Is Fallen, you got Atomic Garden, Generator, the title track, Chimera, I don't know how to fucking say it, but that's the top song contender. This is a good Bad Religion record.
I listened to it. I thought this would probably end up on my top 10 also. I don't know. It just didn't... It didn't do it as for me like I thought it would.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. For Bad Religion, it's still top 3 to 5. We're going to rank it. It's better than Social Distortion. It's not better than Tory.
I 100% agree with that assessment. That's how I felt listening to those albums together.
I love it though. Oh, this is another one I love. This was an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the Beastie Boys discography. I'm scared. I don't know how to rank those records. That's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, I mean they got 3 or 4 that are strong number 1 contenders there, including this one.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus, what a masterpiece, right? Yeah, the hits, you got Pass the Mic, you got So What You Want, you got
What you want?
Something's Got to Give, Gratitude's on there, Professor Booty, The Biz versus the Nuge.
Ooh, that's a top song contender.
That's so good, right? Live at PJ's, like Time for Living.
Namaste.
Finger looking good.
Pass
So,
the mic.
yeah.
I thought this one lasted too long also. I thought 20 songs was a touch too many.
That's about average for the Beastie Boys,
Yeah,
though.
the Beastie Boys
especially
put
at this point in their career, there's some jams on here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
50,
maybe they could
15 or
be
16, and we're gold.
okay. Well, so when I tell you that there's like a 50-track deluxe edition,
Oh, I don't. It's not that I understand what you're saying. But I'm with that. I mean, I think the songs you named are so good, and then the rest of it is just kind of like there, just filler.
well, I don't know. I think this is a really, really strong album.
It's definitely in my realm. That's the one I was looking up because I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure somebody has Beastie Boys. Check your head before I mention it for honorable mentions beforehand, and then I was like, oh yeah, Tim's got it. Somebody's got it, which is great. But I'm glad.
We haven't done the Beastie Boys yet, so I won't spoil if this is my the top of the heap for me. I'll just say that for 92, this is a very strong album that goes on to kind of define the decade for me.
I had a friend who had the what you want as his ringtone for a long time, and I was like, this is so good.
And it holds up. Like, here we are 30-something years later, and yeah, it's just a strong album.
Yeah.
Really good.
It definitely holds up. This would be a top 3, if not. I'm scared to do the Beastie Boys. There's so many that I could easily put at number 1 for different reasons.
Indeed.
Saying that,
yeah.
Tim was the one that has to put it against other albums.
Uh-huh.
So how's it compared to The Punch?
I think I'm going to keep with the trend here and put it at number 2.
Better than The Punch, but not better than the Body Count. All right. Moving right along to Mr. Bill.
Yes, we are.
The Black Crowes.
Black Crowes.
Fuck this record for having a long ass album title and making me stretch my shit out. Sorry.
I mean, that's the theme here. Black Crowes stretching shit out. Yes.
That'd have been a better title.
I want to tell you, if this is art, I hate this. We got a band picture. You can't read the title, and then just Black Crowes and a weird top part. I hate it.
But it would have made a great Cinderella cover.
That is true.
Very true.
Sorry,
how do we know it's not a Cinderella cover?
They kind of look the same. I don't know. All I know is John Popper had a beef with the lead singer of the Black Crowes.
As did the guitar player of the Black Crowes. But they're back now. Have you guys heard their newest single?
No.
Is it She Tossed Angels?
No, it was Remedy.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds about right. So, this album, 1992, Black Crowes' second album that they did. It's, I guess, the reason I included, there isn't necessarily a bad song at all on here. In my mind, they're all good. Are any of them great or outstanding? I wouldn't say so. I mean, my favorite song on this album is probably Black Moon Creeping. I mean, Remedy and Sting Me are obviously good. Sting Me's it's a solid opener. Not the best opener ever, but solid. Time Will Tell is an okay closer. Not great. Okay. So yeah, Southern Rock. It's a good album. Definitely I thought was worth putting as a top 10 album of the decade just because it kind of, well, I mean, it's Black Crowes' really only claim to fame here early on.
Oh, they have
early on.
Yeah. They get bigger. They get bigger a little later.
It's been a very long time since I've heard this album. I didn't listen to this one for everything because I mildly remember this previously, but I thought My Morning Song was a good song. Am I crazy or?
I don't know anything off this.
It's okay. It's good. That one was a little bit long for me.
It's been a very long time, but I remember I thought I remember My Morning Song and obviously Remedy and Sting Me, but I don't. That's about the extent of what I remember it for. Yeah. And maybe I remember it for being too long, but I didn't like it. It's like there's a memory of it.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's right. Oh, Black
I think they get bigger.
They get bigger later
on the next one. I think that's where I
the
Black Crowes.
And for those of us who have gotten music offline in very legal ways and love Counting Crows, obviously we listen to Black.
Fucking Black Crowes always slips in there, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're trying to download some fucking good B-sides and you get Black Crowes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Bill, better than John Anderson?
No, she's gonna slide right into that 3 spot.
Number 3. All right. We are at the good spot now. Shit's gonna start leaving the grinder.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And
Oh, get really good on these next albums, though.
Yep. I guess it's my turn next. See, it was such a tough year.
Ooh, such a good album.
It was such a tough because it was like Babes in Toyland or L7.
Who was on? Y'all did L7, correct?
No, we haven't done L7 yet.
We haven't done L7 or Babes in Toyland.
Yeah.
They're both great bands, though.
Yeah. I saw L7 live. They were one of the first shows. Ed and I saw them with Alana at the Night Owl in Pensacola. Fucking great show.
Where in the hell was the Night Owl at?
It was in Pensacola, like downtown, or not. It wasn't even really downtown. It was like a shithole. But
That's not the place we saw.
No. It wasn't where we saw the Swinging Utters. That was like a pool hall, which was fucking weird too. But yeah, Bricks Are Heavy. This is a great fucking record. I mean, you got Shit List. You got Diet Pill. Pretend We're Dead. That was a Rock Band 2 fucking classic on them drums. You got Wargasm. This was a good record. I like L7.
So do I, and this one holds up really well.
Yeah, I think they weren't labeled as punk, but they were fucking punk.
Mm-hmm.
They were a little sludgy too, but
yeah, they're that they're right in that lovely mix where they're not quite punk, they're not quite sludge, they're not quite grunge,
but
they
fit
can
in
get
everywhere.
along with all of them.
Yeah, they fit in everywhere. Great record. Where did I place it? I don't know. Where did I place it? I placed it. They didn't make the meat grinder. They were wait.
They didn't beat Social D.
They did beat Social D. They did.
Okay,
beat Social
okay. That makes
My notes fell on the ground, and it's raining here, so it's soaking wet.
Not one.
Ink is running, so y'all bear with me. But yeah, they
If
did
you
beat
are
Social
So
Distortion.
long,
those of you
Mike
who are paying
Ness,
attention, you
we
can see
barely
the
knew
moon.
you.
You can see the moon rising above Jason's left shoulder.
Yes. Almost like it's a skunk coming right after him.
No, that's a street light. That's a street light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So apparently I thought it was the moon, and I was going to be real disappointed when it didn't go any higher.
No, yeah, it's not going to move.
Or brighter.
But keep your eye out for skunks, because there's a family of skunks in my front yard. All right. Jesus fuck. I'm going to go take a bathroom break while Tim talks about this one.
Tim, what I'm going to tell you before you start talking about it, that's awesome. You have the album. This is a great album cover.
Right?
It ain't even top 3 Faith No More album covers.
I
We
don't
did
know
it
any
Is
other.
It Art on that one.
This is a number 1 for me.
No.
I don't
Soul
know any of
Invictus.
They've got a lot of good album covers, and they got a lot of good albums. Definitely go back and watch our Faith No More video.
This album cover is Ed Connick.
I love this.
I mean, this album is iconic, though.
It is iconic, but it's Ed Connick too.
Sure. Sure. You got the cows on the back. I mean, it's like...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Kerrang! Magazine gave this their number 1 spot in their 90s meat grinder. This was Kerrang's number 1 album of the decade. So it's got to be here, right? At the very least.
Oh, yeah.
Without spoiling our Faith No More rankings, this one does pretty good.
It does. It does.
Yeah, I mean, front to back. '92 is a good year. I'm going to say the same thing about all of these albums, front to back. This thing just is a banger. This has everything on here you want. It's got good mid-tempo funk. It's got country western. It's got jazz. It's got metal. It's got funk. It's got a cover of the theme from Midnight Cowboy. If you get a deluxe edition or even like a bonus track edition, you get the cover of the Commodore's Easy. You also get songs like Malpractice or like Jizzlobber, which are some of the heavier things they ever do.
Yeah, Jizzlobber's pretty good.
The video for Everything's Ruined, if you haven't seen that, it is so good.
Now, to give Jason some time here to do what he was doing, Faith No More and I are not. I'm not very familiar with Faith No More. Sure. I know What Is This.
Yeah,
that's the extent of what I know about Faith No More. So, what is your feeling about What Is This and this? Like, is this album way better than that song?
Oh yeah.
Does Faith No More have better songs than What Is This? Because that's not a great song.
Right, but for some reason that's the one that clicked.
That's
but no, you could actually argue that's one of their worst songs.
That's a top song contender.
So bad.
I put it in my top songs.
It's so bad, though.
It's good. It's good. They get better. Good. They get better though.
But it gets a lot better.
This is a good record.
This was the first one where Mike Patton really came in and was there from the beginning of the writing process. So this is where they start getting a little weirder, but it works. Yeah, no, this album is just a masterpiece in sound design, song construction, mood swings. It's a great album.
I'm gonna need y'all's recommendation on like an album to listen to because I'm not.
Soul Invictus. Start with the newest.
See, and I'd say this one.
Okay.
Yeah,
but really, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, this was a great record. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it got me. This was my first Bungle. I had to listen to Faith No More. This is my first like Patton at the Patton train station. And then we rode off into the wild sunset of Mr. Bungle. And now we're going to take a right turn into Tomahawk. That's coming up next.
Sure.
This was a fucking pretty good record, and it deserves to be on this list.
Excellent.
I already know where Tim's putting it. Because unlike you bastards, I watched our video. It's better than Pantera. It's better than Beastie Boys. It's better than Body Count. It's going number one.
Angel Dust, baby. Angel. Okay. Oh my god. Like the cool keyboard patterns in Small Victory. Like, sing along. It's it's so good. Just every song is so good.
It's a band, once you hear it once, you're going to hear it. You're going to want to go back to deep dive it.
Oh, yeah. Already.
Welcome back to Old Drunken Discography, even though there wasn't a fucking break for you. There was a long break for us because we're old and we're drunk. It's time for Bill's next pick.
Bill,
what you got going on here?
Do you want to help me out on this one?
Maybe. Is it my turn to help out on this, or do I have something?
Let me look.
Because I love you.
I love you. We'll go together. You fucking.
All right, Ben, I'm going to let you go first. Right. I'm with you.
So, We Shall Be Free. It's a interesting intro. I feel like it would have been a better closer than an opener. But hey, it is what it is.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think that is a great point on this one because We Shall Be Free is a very it's a great song. But it is very, like, motivational type. Like,
it's something like, okay, you've heard this album, now go out in the world.
Yeah.
Rather than...
Then, hold on, listen to some more songs.
This song, now you got to listen to Somewhere Other Than the Night, which is kind of an interesting follow-up to that song, not going to lie.
Yeah. It's hard to hit with... And Jason and I have spoken about this a long time, because I think Jason missed his calling in life with organizing, like songs on albums, because he's very, very good at that. He used to be the master of the mixtape.
I was good at it.
He was really, really good at putting things together. And so that is one thing that I've always paid attention to because of Jason, because of him talking about like how he lines things up. But as you're saying, you've got like this kick-ass, great motivational song, and then you've got a song that's pretty good, but there's no real message there anymore.
100%. Then you follow that with Mr. Right, which, okay.
I like that funky start.
You see, it's a phenomenal funky start. And then it just kind of...
Yeah, but...
It stays the same consistency. It doesn't actually deviate after it goes to that point.
This is also a country record. I don't think country records were very album-oriented and, like... I don't think songs...
Definitely singles-oriented.
Yeah, the sequence didn't mean as much. It was more about the singles.
Well, I think Garth Brooks has a better feel for it on his previous two albums.
Yes.
For like the alignment of his songs, like because I agree with you. I think country wasn't necessarily about hey, how's this flow together. It's more like all right, we're playing songs to get to the singles.
Yep.
And I think that Garth Brooks had a better
handle than most.
And I think that it changed country albums going forward in the 90s.
Not
even
this
now, except for this one. And you know, before we even get to the rankings, I'll say I think that the previous two albums are much better than this one for a lot of reasons, and one of them is because of the track listing of how it, how it flowed, how they flowed versus this one. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if we changed somebody. I didn't do my due diligence on looking up if we changed a producer or a mixer or someone of that nature.
Songwriter.
Yeah, and now songwriters I think relatively the same, but like I said, there's somebody who did something different here. Still a great album. I think that, and Bill, kind of stealing your thunder, every now and then I just think it's okay. I think it's an okay song. I don't think it's a great song. I think Walking After Midnight is a really good cover for Patsy Cline. Dixie Chicken being a cover of Little Feat, I thought that was I like the Dixie Chicken, or the Little Feat version of this better. I think this one's it's a good cover, but I think that I am used to Little Feat doing this song more. Okay. I just think that, and I think they have a little more like pizzazz to it, a little more oomph going through there.
A little more whoosh.
I could definitely agree with that. Garth Brooks' Dixie Chicken was the first one I heard for that. Which actually is the same also with Walking After Midnight, which after I heard Patsy Cline's like, oh, that's way better than this one.
Yes. I think it's a good cover. I think Patsy Cline's version is also amazing. I think she does it a Patsy Cline way that's way better. I do like this one, but
I definitely agree with that. Let's say I like it, but like Patsy Cline's just way better than that.
Let me ask you this. This might be a little bit off topic, but is there anybody who's ever done a cover of Patsy Cline that's better than Patsy fucking Cline?
I'd probably say no. I mean, if I had to guess, just no.
No.
I think this might be as good as it gets as far as a cover from Patsy Cline. Now, I surely have not heard all the covers of Patsy Cline that there are in the world, but this one's good.
I got some Patsy Cline vinyl.
I only have one question about this album, and that's why the hat gets to break the two-color rule.
Now, it's the hat and the pants.
Sure.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
It's still balanced.
And what you're seeing is the pants and the hat, or I think they're aligned.
Yep.
As far as the pattern goes.
Huh.
I only have two things to say about this record.
It's hard to have a multicolored hat. So usually it does the pants and hat would alternate.
I mean,
is it that hard?
I understand that people wore that shirt in 1992, but doesn't mean they should have.
So my problem
and then
is
you knew what you were doing.
I feel like part of the shirt in the middle goes a little too far. Like the black reaches over a little further than the middle.
Right.
I'm 9% sure that'd be his button seam, so that entire band would be one color rather than making it multicolor.
Not a fan.
I'll say this is probably my least favorite Garth Brooks album cover.
I'll say this. This is the one that I remember from when I was like 12 years old, just seeing it around. And two, it's fucking stupid.
This is not the one I remember. I remember the red and black and the blue and black. album covers. Those are the ones that
Yes.
stick out in my mind. This one does not as much. I mean, and it's got good songs on it. It's got songs that are like on his greatest hits. Like That Summer was a great song.
Oh my god, yeah.
I love Night Rider's Lament, even though it is a cover. Chris Ledoux, Jerry Jeff Walker. I think that's a great cover. Face to Face is just okay. I don't think that's a great closing track. That definitely belongs somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about some good Face to Face here real soon.
Just because you didn't mention it, I'll say "Learning to Live Again" might be my favorite song actually on this album.
That's a good song also. You could have thrown me "Learning to Live Again" at the bottom there to close out. It might have been okay.
That would have been much better. Well,
yeah.
Honestly, this album has like 3 potential closers, but then it also has no real opener when you really look at it either. There's nothing that you could easily slide in there.
I mean, 33% of this album is covers. So it was...
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, we're putting... I mean, he had an album 90, 91, 92... there were just too many going out, I think.
Yep.
Well, that's him, and we were capitalizing on his fans.
Yeah, well, that's like,
still good.
They're saying evidence of like too many going out. I mean, No Fences, even when this album came out, I think No Fences was still charting like number 3 on the Billboard.
Yes.
And I know this album, I shouldn't say no, I am like 99% positive this album did never beat Roping the Wind in the charts.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. And what's funny is I think this album was still charting in 93 heavily.
Yes.
This album was to begin with in 93. But, yeah, I'm with you. This is my, so far, least favorite Garth Brooks album that we've listened to in the 90s.
I would concur.
Still amazing. Still a great album. But
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, where does it rank?
8 looks good.
Back here.
I will spoiler alert. 8 does not look good. I'll spoiler alert that one.
Yeah, 8's not quite right.
It's better than Black Crows for me, for sure.
Black Crows loses the grinder.
Ooh, we got the Garth Brooks. Keep only country.
Am I gonna put it above John Anderson though?
Oh, that's a question.
I think that looks good.
I'm gonna keep her there.
Okay.
All right, Joe. Is it better than Date? Better than Hope?
Well, I mean, let's not throw in Date.
Better than fucking. I mean, come on, dude. That's like.
Let's not throw Date as the first song we could try to go better with.
Dude, that's a great fucking song, man.
I don't want to say Garth Brooks is worse than Date in a sentence.
You just did.
It's a good fucking song, dude. Sublime. That's a good album.
Is Garth Brooks this album better than Sublime? No. It's going to hit number 4.
All right.
Not even going to make the grinder.
He's not making the grinder on much yet.
I appreciate that decision.
Don't worry, there's still hope.
No. I can't do it. I love Garth Brooks. This album is not the one that's going to make the meat grinder for me.
Well, yeah, you already got 2 of them motherfuckers in there.
Right.
Let's say because I was actually because you didn't have Roping the Wind in the grinder. I'm the one that got that one in, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Tim leads us off this time.
Ooh, with a bit of a sleeper album. So yeah, Black Sabbath put out an album in 1992 that in 1992 really got lost in the shuffle. This was an album that suffered greatly at the hands of the grunge rock. But going back to it, so this was the first reunion with Ronnie James Dio. So you got Dio back on this album. Geezer Butler, Tony Iommi, and then Vinny Appice back on drums. His first album with Black Sabbath since, 82's Mob Rules. Same with Dio. Yeah, going back to this album, it's super heavy. The songs are just really good. Dio's vocals are incredible on this album. Tony's riffs, incredible on this album. So many catchy things on here. Computer God, After All the Dead, TV Crimes was a single. Was no, I think it was Time Machine was in the Wayne's World soundtrack.
Yeah.
Master of Insanity though is like got this really cool jazzy bass intro that just launches into this sick riff. It's so good. I is a classic. It's Dio's like, it just sounds so good on here. Dark Horse late game Black Sabbath album coming in and snuck under the radar, but I highly recommend people go back and check this one out. It held up really well. Time has done this a lot of favors. It sounds amazing. Songs are catchy as all hell. Just a really, really fun album that I discovered it a little later in life, but it's now quickly on the list of essentials. Like, it's a great album.
Can't say I've heard that one.
I don't think I have either.
I don't know shit about Black Sabbath after like the 70s.
Yeah, I was like, I know some 70s
Yeah.
Black Sabbath, but after that, we are a little. I'm a
Well,
little.
the 80s Sabbath
this
starts
Ozzy?
with Dio.
Was
This is
Ozzy
Dio.
Sabbath?
Dio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is Dio Sabbath, which
Yeah.
obviously Ozzy's solo career started in 80. Sabbath's post-Ozzy career started in 80. And the Sabbath is very hit or miss, but the stuff with Dio is all hit. Like, anytime Dio's in the band, like, you know, we'll get to Sabbath, but I was definitely one of those guys where it was Ozzy or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually I heard this album and I heard Heaven and Hell, and I just couldn't deny that they're
Now, Heaven and Hell, I have heard. Being amazing.
Yeah. It's and even the last album they do together, which ended up being Dio's last album, the Heaven and Hell album, just incredible stuff. Like, really, really good.
All right. Well, where would you rank it? Better
Well,
than Pantera?
yeah, I think it is better than the Pantera album. And that Pantera album is a game changer. I don't want to like diminish its importance.
Better than Beastie
But
Boys? No.
yeah, I think it is. I think it is going to go better than the Beastie Boys.
I can't wait to listen to this album.
It looks like you're going to listen to it. Well, we still got a while to go. It might get kicked out. Better than Body Count?
I don't think it's going to be better than the Body Count.
Okay.
It's going to be really close, though. Like, those are two very comparable albums.
All right.
Actually, yeah, I think it might be better than the Body Count.
Oh, snap.
Oh, Body Count's out for the count. Not yet. It's still hanging on number 3.
What about Faith No More? Is it better than Faith No More?
No.
No. No, that Faith No More album is one
You
of
don't
the
touch
best albums
that.
I've ever heard in my life. So
Yeah.
it's going to firmly sit at number 1. Sorry for the spoilers.
I could get behind that, except for Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
It's a
I
shame.
know.
Shame Beastie Boys out.
Yeah, okay, you know what? You're right. You are right. As much as I do love this album, it's got to go below the Beastie Boys.
Which one?
The Sabbath. Black
Well, that's a
Sabbath.
jump.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
shit.
it's such a tough album to rank. All of these are, honestly.
Well, then I don't guess I'm listening to that. No.
Well, you can listen to it on your own, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I could.
You can come back and join us for when we do Black Sabbath.
Oh, no. No, that's not going to happen.
Jesus.
Highly
all right.
recommend that album. Highly recommend
Oh,
Dehumanizer. I mean, I'm going to recommend all these albums, you know. Like these are 10 very amazing albums in a year of amazing albums that you guys all know.
It was
Like,
tough. I mean, I listened to a lot of albums where I was like, you're in the top 15. I mean, definitely in the top 15. But
and even going into this, like, I didn't even know all the one. I still don't know all the ones that are going in the meat grinder. So we're going as we go here. It's so good. I want it to go to the meat grinder, but I got some other good choices coming up
hard.
too.
It's so fucking hard. You see all these people on, they post their tier rankings of like, oh, these albums are S and A and B. No, that's the easy way out. Here we have to rank them.
yes.
And technically, these would all be S tier albums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or A at the least.
I mean, yeah, we'll move to S to A as the one.
Yeah, they're all top tier. That's what makes it hard.
Bill, I am not stealing anybody's thunder here, but
You always steal Bill's thunder.
Rope that thunder.
This album, your choice here. I have been dying to hear about your pick of George Strait.
And the Pure Country.
Mm-hmm. I love George Strait.
The original motion picture soundtrack.
Yes. So, I'll be honest. First time I listened to this album, did not know it was the soundtrack. And actually, when I went through albums that came out in 1992, I'm like, damn, this album came out in 1992. Hell yeah, I like that album. Damn right, it's making my top 10 list. But then Jason messaged, hey, did you read this motion picture soundtrack? I'm like, yes, I did. I'll say this. We were just talking about country not having as good of a flow to it. I'll say this. Granted, it's motion picture soundtrack. This album has phenomenal flow.
Because it's a motion picture soundtrack.
Does that affect anything?
I want to make that clear.
You take out the line original motion picture soundtrack at the bottom of the album. Could you tell it was a motion picture soundtrack?
I don't know. I ain't listening to this
I didn't
bullshit.
listen to that.
I mean, technically, though, usually soundtracks do flow much like with the movie.
Yeah.
Where you get a nice intro song, then you get a couple like plot movers, then you get the montage, then you get the big finale.
Yep.
Here's my question for you. How old is that man in that picture, y'all think?
George Strait at this time, oh gosh, he would have been what?
Mid-20s?
Probably I think he's late 20s at the point when this came out here.
Tim, what's your guess?
I mean, George Strait was like 80 years old in the 80s. So I'm guessing he's probably like 35.
Shit.
So you're closer. He is 40 years old in this picture.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, with a little Photoshop, maybe a little airbrush.
He was born in 1952. Because I was like, how old is George Strait in this picture? So I just looked it up. Here we go.
I mean, he looks good for 40.
Yeah,
Not gonna
looks
lie.
great,
He looks good. All right, Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bill. We've
Well,
got a lot
that being said, I mean, obviously with it being a motion picture soundtrack, about half of these are covers. That being said, they're pretty good covers. When Did You Start Loving Me, I thought was strong. Where the Sidewalk Ends and King of Broken Hearts by Jim Lauderdale, both, they got pretty goddamn strong. Some of my closers. Heartland, the reprise at the end is actually, it's a kid singing. I can't remember, or I believe it's a kid. It's either a kid or a woman.
One or two,
Yeah. Children first.
And it brings a kind of different meaning to it. That being said, honestly, I feel like this is a very strong album. I love all these songs, honestly, on it. And I feel like it's an exceptionally strong album.
I love the Where the Sidewalk Ends as a title, obviously from the book of our childhood, for most of our childhoods.
Yeah.
Also, George Strait could read me the phone book. That man's voice is amazing.
Plus, I mean, here's something else also. Oh, then he definitely has a voice.
I think George Strait just took advantage of Joe.
He did. He may have.
In 1992, I mean, obviously you have like the Garth Brooks sounding and like so the newer sounding country coming through. This album is a lot of that 70s and 80s country, where you're hearing the dobro, you're hearing the fiddle, you're hearing everything coming out.
He's got like a voice like a Chris Ledoux, his voice is much. Garth Brooks has a more poppy country voice than a George Strait.
Yes, and I was gonna bring my Garth Brooks coffee mug here today. Unfortunately,
awesome.
Also left that at home. I'll bring that in a future video to show hey,
there's more Garth Brooks.
Here is my. Did I say Garth Brooks or did I say George Strait?
You say Garth Brooks.
You have
George
Strait? It's a George Strait coffee mug I have.
Oh, now that's an antique.
And I also used to have a George Strait T-shirt from way back when. Gosh, I can't remember what album cover it is from. But George Strait was actually the first country singer I started regularly listening to. It was actually one of my grandfather's favorite country artists as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how I got the memorabilia.
Bill, the first country artist I ever saw mainstream was the Charlie Daniels Band.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
That one down to Georgia?
He played it live.
Well, of course he did. What else is he going to play?
I want to give a shout out to one of our Patreon members, my mom. Thank you, Mom, for not raising me on country.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Pam, you would let George Strait read the phone book to you also?
No, she wouldn't. She'd let Steven Tyler read the phone book. Not George Strait.
I don't know if I'd let Steven Tyler read me the phone book.
And both my dads, my stepdad and my real dad, true rock and roll motherfuckers. That's all I want to say.
George Strait's rock and roll.
George Strait is
we're talking about an album called Pure Country.
I can't keep a straight face. That's why I said it, because it says Pure Country on the belt buckle.
George Strait is also what? 70 years old now and still cranking out phenomenal music.
Well, let's not get carried away with phenomenal music.
Well,
cranking out music would have been a very acceptable line there. He's still cranking out music.
I mean, Rick Springfield's still cranking out music.
I like it.
Motley Crue is still cranking out music.
We'll get to that.
Well, that's different cranking out music. Definitely cranking out music still. So.
Yeah,
right,
we'll
Bill.
definitely get to that.
Alrighty.
Pure Country. Better than Black Crowes?
Absolutely.
Better than Garth Brooks?
Without a doubt.
Ooh.
That's spicy.
Better than John Anderson?
I mean, if it's better than Garth Brooks, I can't imagine it not being better than John Anderson, but that's just me.
Oh, I just touched that wet chair. It's raining here.
God, I love John Anderson, but it's better than John Anderson.
Ooh, better than
I love John
Anderson.
That's a phenomenal John Anderson record.
Is it
not
better
than
Weird
fucking Weird Al.
Yeah, no, and then thank God we all know it's not better than Weird Al.
It could be better than Weird Al.
It's not better than fucking Weird Al. Come on.
I'm just saying, if it's better than Garth Brooks, there's a
Trigger
chance.
Happy, come on.
There's a chance here. I'm just saying. Number two.
It's number 2? Okay.
Yeah. I was trying to do a cliffhanger for you there.
Well, we got plenty of cliffhangers because you're up next.
Well, Raccoon Skunk now.
And you're at Stone Temple Pilots. That's a fucking cliffhanger right there.
Ooh, is that my next one too? That might be my next.
Is it your next one too?
I think so.
Double cliffhanger.
Nope, you got
No,
Peter
it's
Gabriel.
not.
Oh,
Peter
no,
Gabriel
okay.
first.
Yeah, y'all gonna split up again. All right, so.
Oh, even though they came out the same day.
Yeah, one is clearly better than the other. Stick around to find out which one that is.
Yeah, which one is that?
Which one is that?
Yeah, this has been our part one of our 1992 rankings. Go check out we are definitely a playlist YouTube channel. We are sort our channels by playlists, and you'll be shocked. We've done Descendants, we've done Alice in Chains. We've done Nickelback. We've done.
Go watch Tori Amos.
Oh, we haven't done Tori. Yeah, we've done Tori. We haven't done Nickelback yet. That's fucking coming.
Counting Crows. If you want to hear me wax poetic about a band.
Lawrence Arms.
Yeah.
Faith No More.
Faith No More.
Nirvana at least twice.
Nirvana's twice. We're going to do it a third time with the new format. It's going to kick ass. So stick around. Make sure you like, you subscribe. Tory fans, I know you got my back. Leave a comment down below. Little Earthquake should be number fucking 1.
Boys or Pele.
That's coming up later. We'll get to Pele. Be safe. Make good decisions.